you.
The big D.
Yeah.
This came up. We're done. We're done. We're calling it. We're calling it.
We only need 2, baby.
You don't need to answer, but go ahead, give me a guess. There we are.
All right.
What an intro.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the OG Minifans Show on the Kirk Minahan Network. I'm Steve from Providence with TJ Hubbard, Tim from Canton, and special guest tonight, John Featherston. John, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey, guys. Good evening. How's everybody?
Awesome.
Hey, John.
Awesome. TJ?
Doing well. Feel fantastic. 100%.
Tim?
Undercarriage is a little questionable, but otherwise, thumbs up.
I like the picture that you got back of you. Very
you like
nice.
that? Yeah,
It's
wait
great.
till you
I
see
like
what
it.
I do to this thing tonight.
Awesome.
I'm seeing double. Yeah.
Hey, make a hole right in the mouth and just use it as a glory hole. Set it down there.
There'll be more than one.
Happens.
There'll be more than one, my friend.
So the reason why we wanted to have Mr. Featherston on tonight was this Sunday he has planned I guess you could call it a rally, so to speak, at Milton's. And rather than get any information second and third hand, thought we'd have you on for a few minutes. And thank you very much for the time, just to go over everything, expectations, what's going to happen. This way everyone knows before they head up there.
Well, thank you. We're going to have a great, positive event. Come out and support Kirk Minahan, the greatest podcast on the history of the earth. Come out and support the Kirk Minahan Show, and a loyal sponsor in Milton's, the store for men's. Bill and Dana have been great sponsors of Kirk for on different platforms throughout the years. They're very excited about this. They're very appreciative that the Minifans want to come and shop in the store and support Kirk. It's going to be a fan-friendly event. We're going to have a couple surprises. Blind Mike's going to be there with the Warthog, and we're going to be there.
They're bringing some pizza.
DC's going to be.
Thank God.
We're bringing some. Yeah, we might all be dead on Monday, but they're bringing pizza.
Be decent.
DC's going to do a live broadcast from there as well. So it's going to be a great time. Route 9 in Chestnut Hill, the store for men's. It's right next to the Wegmans. You can't miss it. It's right across the street from the Chestnut Hill Mall. We're all going to get there about 11:30. The store opens up at noon. We'll practice social distancing. You're going to have to wear a mask, and only a certain amount of people can be in the store at a time. But it'd be great to sponsor them. Milton's is a great advertiser, great loyal advertiser.
Now, just a couple things. So, there are going to be people that are taking advantage of buying stuff inside the store. There are some people that don't need anything. Now, if you're not buying, you're still very much welcome. Just the appearance of coming there and showing support, that's more than enough as well, correct?
Well, it's two things. It's one, come and support Kirk, which, just come out and bring a sign. The more signs, I think, the better. Support Kirk. And if you need something, you want to take advantage of their great sales. You got to remember, Milton's was closed for 3 months during the coronavirus, so they want to liquidate a lot of their inventory. So they got a great sale going on. And even if you can attend, Bill from Milton's has set up. There's a promo code that's going to be active on Sunday. The promo code is Kirk. And if you take advantage of that, you'll get the same discounts that we're getting in the store on Sunday as well. So
something else.
But you're not obligated to spend any money. But if you're going to come and support Kirk, we ask you that you bring a sign or bring a positive attitude.
And John, something else to keep in mind for people that have kids or want to buy for kids. I'm a big Milton's fan. They have a pretty damn good children's selection too. So anybody that's looking for something for a youngin', before DEC goes in there and fills up the van with stuff he's bringing back home, you can go in and check it. And for guys like me and Steve, they also have a great clearance section. I mean, excellent. Mm-hmm. Very inexpensive and good stuff.
Do they do custom wear? I mean, custom. Because I don't know if you know this, but I'm about 3 inches from becoming a complete cube. that means my inseam, my waist is about twice as big as my inseam.
TJ, the human square.
I am currently on pace to change that up. Let's get.
Hey,
it
we
down
all
to
have life goals,
few
right?
inches. Hey, life goal.
You could be the first human cube.
But Tim, getting
Unbelievable.
back to Milton, though. I mean, it's a beautiful store. It's a huge store. It's two stories. You
Yeah.
can find something. If you need something, you need a pair of socks, you need a belt. You're not obligated to buy anything. We're just there to
Hats.
support both Milton's and Kirk. Hat. Yep.
Now, John,
Everybody
where
needs
is
something for the summer.
the parking situation? I could have swore when I talked to you, said that they have two parking lots, one that they'd like us to utilize.
There's the front of the store, which is right next to Wegmans. When you the store's right on the corner. The front of the store we want to leave for their regular customers that come. But if you park behind the store, there's a big, huge parking lot where we'll be assembling. We'll meet. So we'll have some pizza. We'll have water for everybody, and just park behind the store, and that would be
Plenty of
great.
parking.
Yep.
Plenty of parking. Good.
Plenty of parking. Private property. We don't need any police details or permits or anything like that. So. Bill and Dana from Milton's were ecstatic when we talked on Monday, and it's going to be a great event.
Awesome. Fantastic. You want to stick around or do you got to go?
To hang with the three of you is always an honor.
All right. Awesome.
I want to see what goes on.
Here we go.
All right. So
ready for some real talk. Yeah.
all right. So something that I wanted to get into.
So sounding.
Basically, Steve has been pushing for everyone to sign up for their email.
Yes.
Basically, you go on. There's the link, and what is it called? The tree or something like that. And
the link tree.
Link tree, and then you put in your email, and you will get basically first come. You will get the any information about the show. You'll get direct links to. I guess it's like a private YouTube, a locked YouTube page, to where you'll be able to watch any content that they put out, any shows or maybe any announcements or anything like that. So they started doing that. So now they've had two shows on there. One of them, I believe, was Thursday or Friday of last week, and they had one that came out late last night, early this morning. Kirk, his audio wasn't great. It sounded like he had like a cock in his mouth or something like that. But he still pushed through. Very good show. Very good show.
Oh.
But my question to you guys is, do you think with everything that's going on with Barstool, and I'm going to have you answer first, TJ. We'll get stuck in that vortex. Do you think that they are using the email sign up to kind of gauge the amount of people that they would have sign up for a subscription service?
Well, I mean, can you use it as a platform to try to figure that out? I mean, it doesn't really directly correlate because say 50,000 people sign up for the email. Does that mean all 50,000 people are going to subscribe to the service? No, probably not. But can they use that? Can they use that measure from other podcasts that have similar structure that have, say, this podcast has 50,000 people signed up for their email and only 20,000 subscribers to the script service, something like that. Maybe they have that measure somewhere to pin that against. But I mean, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I know they have all 10 of my emails.
Yep. Tim?
So,
Amen. Very similar. And yes, I think it's absolutely a pathway to the next phase. It is capturing everybody's information so that we can all follow. And like TJ said, I signed up 3 of my fake emails. And I think it's just the next step towards what the next thing will be. And I'm glad that they're planning ahead. Maybe they stay, maybe they don't.
John, what do you got?
I mean, I agree with TJ and Tim, but I also think there's a third piece to it is why does Trump use Twitter? Because he knows that he can't get his voice out with the fake news media. When you have an editor like Kay Marco, you can't get your news out the way you want to do it either. So this is a good safety net and a good backup plan, though, too, to get to communicate with your fan base. Because Kirk said last night he's working on a blog for about David Ortiz. You think Barstool is going to print that? But it's something that I would really look forward to reading, getting Kirk's thoughts on it too. So it's another way of getting great quality content out and ignoring a editor who should be fired.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something. So KFC the other day, I think it was last week on the rundown, kind of shit on the idea of like a parody account or whatnot. Kind of talked bad about it. But what these two gentlemen just said was that they had multiple emails that they signed up to the subscription service, the email tree for, the link tree. Do you think that if you were setting up something like that, John, where you wanted to kind of gauge about how many people were listening, would you want just like if say between the four of us, we have 25 accounts. Would you just want them to sign up with just one account? This way you could get a better idea of how many overall you're listening, the listening audience is.
I mean, personally, myself, from a business standpoint, yeah, I'd want real clicks, or I want real data. Yeah. I mean, if I'm talking to what I think is 10 people and I find out it's really only 3, then that would be frustrating from a business standpoint. Yeah.
All right, Tim, if you were to, I'm going to ask all 3 of this question. So if you were to intern, right now it's a free show. They give us 2.5 to 3 hours a day when they're not on vacation, which is very far few. I mean, the last time that they had any time off, I believe, was when Kirk was going through his medical issues. I could be mistaken. I think that was the last time that they had multiple days off.
So, yeah.
End of February,
yeah. So that was it was a while ago. So much deserved time off. If you were actually paying for the show, what would you want to see added to it, and what would you want to see subtracted, if anything at all?
Ooh, good question. I thought this was going to be how much would you pay? And I was going to say I'm the wrong guy to ask because I would pay anything like you guys. Wow. Added? Again, I think the wrong guy. I love all the different facets of the show, just like Kirk always talks about the Howard Stern show. Howard Stern had his interviews, he had his games, he had his whack pack. It was multifaceted through every show before the end, which I'll call it the end because it looks like he's not coming back once his contract's up. I'm talking about Stern. So for Kirk, geez, I don't know that there's much that I would say I don't like to hear about. I know what it is for me. I am not a Bruce fan. I don't give a goddamn when they talk about Bruce. I don't care. I don't care about the lyrics. I don't care what people were jerking off to when he wrote it. Yeah. Now I don't skip through, but I'm not a Bruce fan. But it's like pizza to me. If I never had it again, I wouldn't give 2 shits.
All right, Tim, TJ, what do you anything that you would want added or subtracted from it?
Real quick, Steve Brown, you're not a Bruce fan either, right?
No, not at all. Sorry.
Okay. Well, they have a Bruce channel on Sirius. I don't mind. Put it on once in a while. Listen to the songs. Kirk would tweet out a song once in a while. Listen to it. It's hard when you weren't a fan. It's hard to get into, but I would suggest a little bit. So
Bruce fan? Typical Bruce fan.
No, not a big
always
Bruce
telling
fan.
us you gotta listen. You gotta give it time.
Storytelling.
I've given it 40 years. It hasn't caught.
There was this lady up the street from me, my friend's father. My friend's mother. And she was always her name was Kitty. Her name was Kitty. She was this huge Bruce Springsteen fan, and I was always like, why does she fucking like this guy? All he's saying was Glory Days. It's all I thought of it. And then until recently, I started seeing a little bit more of the way songwriting stuff goes. So add to the show. I don't know. I like the show the way it is. I mean, if you want to detract from the show too, are you talking just the network or the Kirkman universe?
Basically, before we move on to John, so basically at this point in time, you're going to be a paying customer.
Okay.
So is there anything more that you would like added to the show as currently constituted? Or do you feel like, say it was $10, would you feel as it is right now, you'd be getting your money's worth?
$10, yeah, I think so. At $10, that's fine. I think that at $10 a subscriber, they might add more things I wouldn't even know about right now. Things that we might find that were way funnier or more comedic. I don't know. I know one of our fellow members suggested dropping Blind Mike off in the country with $500 and see if he can find his way back,
which is great.
Yes, that would be great. But doing on location, more on location stuff, or
I'm with DJ. That's a good.
I think I'd like that. If I would have paid anything to see the Fire Falco segment, something similar to that. That was amazing. $80 a month for that one, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, John, that's what I would see on location stuff.
John, what do you got, buddy? Do you like it as currently constituted, or is there anything else that you'd like taken or added to it?
Of course, I like it how it's currently constituted, but I mean, can't believe it. I mean, he's a interesting young man, I'll say. But DJK actually had a good thought the other night on Mike and the Minifans. A tiered system, a basic subscription, a second level, and then a high tier. I used to love, and I still listen to him. Enough About Me. Kirk interviewing somebody to me is gold. I love listening to him talk about, when he's interviewing somebody, especially when somebody he doesn't agree with. I love that. I would pay an extra bump, a couple bucks a month or $10 a month bump to do exclusive interviews. Like you guys said, on location, I think would be key. I think he's a great performer like that. And then, more content like this, like, you guys are his stars of the YouTube channel, stuff like that. I mean, there's plenty of stuff. And I like, Kirk talking about history. I like him talking about movies. There's always, I wouldn't watch, a Steve recommended movie anymore, but, if Kirk recommended a movie and had a viewing session, that would be must-see TV for me as well, too. So
Now,
I think it's endless opportunities.
Was it batteries not included? Which what was it? The
Bicentennial
movie?
Man.
Bicentennial Man.
Bicentennial Man.
So let me
No,
ask you.
not the gay porn, TJ. The real movie.
So let me ask you a question. So when
Sorry,
the difference between the main difference between the subscription service and I even heard them say something about maybe a subscription service through Barstool, which after we're done with this with the Barstool, I kind of feel like I know he says a lot of it is in fun. A lot of it is in jest with some of the guys, like with KFC or with Portnoy. This is going to end badly. This is going to end probably just as bad as it did when he left Entercom, only because I think what's going to happen is, as we all know, Kirk takes these things very personally when someone does something to fuck him. This K Marco thing is not going to go away. I know that they used to bust his balls a lot whenever he would go on location or even at the Super Bowl, like Dan would bust his balls about Murchison. Someone's going to bust his balls about it, and I think it's just going to take a turn for the worst.
but busting someone's balls
Or
about
the better,
one thing.
or the better for us. Better for us.
But busting, like, this isn't busting someone's ball. This guy deliberately tried to fucking fuck with Kirk and fuck with the show, and he deliberately used somebody else there too, and they conspired to fuck Kirk over. This isn't, well, yeah, I know you had some mental health issues and maybe you shouldn't come back or whatever it was. I mean, this was worse in a way because it's people you worked with. And then the people that you work with they don't even have your back. Like someone called him fucking racist and no one was like, hey, he's not racist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were like, oh, well, we're not touching it. And then a fucking guy conspired who didn't publish his blogs, conspires with other coworkers to fuck him over. I mean, and Kirk's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
I don't, it's just, so I understand. I mean, just banter back and forth and, joshing with people's fine, but this was fucking awful.
So let me ask you something, John, real quick, and I'll get right to you, Tim.
Yep.
John, what is the upside? What is your main upside, and what is also the downside? And I think you might know, maybe you had something or known someone that's done this in the past of a subscription service. What are the ups and downs compared to where he's at right now? Where right now they go in, they do their show throughout the week for a few hours. They collect a check at the end of the month or whatever it is. They're going to do some ad reads. So that maybe that's like kind of like for us, we all go into work, we get a check on Friday. Now, how does it change when you go to subscription?
Well, when you go to subscription, you're your own boss, and that's a nice thing.
Bingo.
But you also got to go out. And sell your product though too. And selling your product can be frustrating. And anybody who's sold radio, myself, there can be a long time in between sales. It can be tough. It can be frustrating.
Do you think
it's a lot of work? It's a lot of work.
Do you think that Steve Robinson would be still wearing all these hats if they go to subscription service? I mean, have to be the salesman, has to be the producer, it's a lot of hats to wear. So would they add somebody else to, maybe a sales team? Maybe someone that, named from Providence would like to do some sales.
You can go commission only.
Right. You could go commission only, but you got to look at it from a P&L standpoint. What are their costs? What do they need to cover? Does Kirk want to make $1 million a year, or does Steve want to make 6 figures? So you got you got to look at it from that, because subscription is not going to pay probably all of your costs, so you're going to have to offset it with sales.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, it's not a lot of cost if you're just sitting there behind a mic.
Well, that's not true.
No, there's
But they're
you
also
got
This
rent,
mic,
you've got
this mic, this
you've
Steve,
got-
this rent. The equipment has to be
There's
upgraded.
rent.
Software.
there's licensing. There's licensing. I mean, it adds up pretty quick. And then they want to make, because they're doing good work, they want to make good money. So you're going to have to sell it. And when you then are subscription service, you're going to get, because we all see it in the Minifan world, well, now I'm paying for this shit, and I don't, you're going to get some of that. And, how's Kirk going to handle that?
I mean, up and down with viewership. It happens anyway. So you might get people like, oh, I can't believe you said that. I'm not subscribing to this. And then that same person's, would say, well, no, wow, really? All right, let me subscribe to this. Then my question is, if they go to subscription service, does Blind Mike get a bump in pay?
I bet he gets bonuses, incentives, just like Barstool. But here's my thought on a subscription service. We're thinking just the KMS show or the KMS, right?
Right.
If Kirk goes to a subscription service, that's his. He's already created. I've said this for so long. He's the only guy out there who is having a viewer-led content. A lot of it's crap. Should I do? A lot of it is crap. And some of it is outstanding. Think of Bill Simmons and think of some other people who have then gone on to Spotify and sell their platform. It starts out with Kirk. Kirk goes and finds talent, brings that talent in under his moniker. Now he's got them on his platform. He's building a whole world. And the next thing he can do is he can sell it off to somebody. He can continue that revenue stream. He can have talent that's bringing in viewership, like a Call Her Daddy. Same thing as Barstool did, just essentially doing it on their own. But the difference with Barstool, their blog is Kirk's a podcaster. And that's the advantage I think he has. And the last thing I'd say about this is, remember what Kirk always says about who his favorite person was on the Stern Show? It's Artie Lang. And what did Artie Lang do? He came in and he said, I guarantee you this will not end well. And I don't think he's trying to imitate Artie. I think he feels, and I think they're the same, incredibly creative people that push against those walls. And it's not about authority. It's just pushing against those authority walls that says this is great content versus we're going to hurt our advertisers. Artie ended up leaving, and a lot of people left that show after Artie left. Kirk is his own person. I think he could run this himself. I think he could absolutely build a platform, build a whole network, and in the end, sell it off to somebody that will continue to broaden the scope of the fans instead of just us diehards.
Yeah, John. Let me ask you something.
Everybody thinks Steve has only written 2 books and is working on a 3rd. Well, he's actually working on his 4th, because there's another famous radio personality who left Intercom and started his own empire, and his name's Howie Carr.
Yes,
who wrote
the Howie Carr Network.
Howie.
Yep,
the Howie Carr Network. It's hugely successful.
Huge.
Well,
Huge.
Mostly on AM radio, which is a hard thing to sell nowadays. And Steve wrote the playbook, or knows the playbook.
They got an FM band up here now. FM band up here. So that's pretty good.
And what's great about that story is he hated Entercom, but went back and sold his show to Entercom. So he has the very people he didn't want to work for paying him for the content that they always wanted. And I could see the same thing happening. And I think Steve is the behind the scenes. I mean, the guy wears so many hats. He gets so much done, but he can't do it all himself. So that's why I can see this expanding and growing.
Well, let me ask you something, John, real quick. So I the only thing I've ever paid for to listen to would be Sirius, which I paid for when Stern originally went on it back in the early 2000s. Is it common nowadays? Is it becoming more common where people pay to listen to a product? And if so,
Yes.
is it also as least of an event where someone would actually go from general, put on you subscribe to a podcast or put on a radio show, where you go to a subscription service? Once you go there, is it less common that you would actually go back to free radio again? Like once you go across that road, is that it pretty much?
terrestrial radio is dying. And just think
Mhm.
about yourself and about all of us. 5 years ago, were we doing Netflix or Hulu or anything like that? Most of us probably, at least I wasn't, but now I am. And now I say to my wife, I'm like, wait a minute, we're paying for, Disney, Hulu, Netflix, and we still have cable? Like, what's wrong with us,
I just ditched the cable. But you're right.
I just did the exact same thing too now.
Completely
and
right.
I'm
I mean,
spending less money and I have more content that I like.
yeah. I mean,
It's-
this platform here,
the
the
world's
YouTube
changing.
TV, $50.
Yeah.
It's the same. So John brings up a great point. It's the same concept, Steve, that I'm with you guys. I cut the cord 2 years ago and couldn't have been happier. It's liberating. I barely watch live TV except for sports when they're on. Other than that, it's what I want to watch. And I think what's not talked about is people are essentially, quote unquote, cutting the terrestrial cord for radio. And they're not listening to the radio. You don't have to go on the radio to listen to your song that you want to hear. You just download it in 2 seconds. Content you want to hear. I don't want to hear some blowhard going on a show. I can go and listen to them if I want to, and I'll find them. I think what's happening is people are cutting the terrestrial cord, and Kirk is way ahead of that curve. And Barstool's just about there as well. And people are choosing the content that they want to listen to. And with the cars now, where they're internet capable, first thing people do is iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, podcast, whatever they might be, because even if there's ads, it's the absolute content that they want, and they're not tortured by having to listen to 8 hours of stuff they don't want. And that's the thing that terrestrial radio doesn't get. They're not giving us content. They're giving us the same old, just in a different wrapper, and it's never changed.
I have 2 20-year-old kids in their early 20s. They don't watch TV and they don't listen to the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Period. End of story.
Amen.
Since the Nickelodeon days, they don't watch TV. Everything's on their phone. It's YouTube. It's this. It's
But
that.
they consume
And
a ton of content, right?
Yeah,
more than
Tons.
all of us ever did. And they
Right.
don't listen to the radio because if they're in their car, they just hook up to their Bluetooth and they listen to what they want to listen to. Radio is dying a fast death.
I took Steve from Providence's direction this week, and I watched a little show called Better Than It Used to Be. And
You did your homework.
so it's funny that just the Kirk Minahan network with the shows underneath it, I mean, that's good enough TV. Like, I could watch that and maybe a couple other things a week. That's all you need.
Agreed.
But Better Than It Used to Be, it really hits home because it's pretty much like 20 minutes away from me.
No,
That's hilarious. I liked it a lot. So
now, speaking of, so we just with that YouTube, Kirk once again. I don't know if you guys seen this. So we changed it. If you guys remember from the Intercom days, he would constantly change his bio. I remember he was going to do when he was doing his own podcast. It was, I don't know, he had something, and then he would change his Twitter bio to, "It doesn't look like it's happening. It's never going to happen. I don't know what's going on." Well, today he changed it to "Subscription Jesus, son of Madawaska." Do you think he's doing that? Let me go with you first, Tim. Do you think he's doing that to troll Portnoy? Is that just because he is clearly in Portnoy's head tap dancing away? Portnoy, as much of an Adderall coke addict as he is, Kirk is inside there dancing, and I'm wondering if he does little shit like this just to troll him. What do you think?
4 quick points. 1, absolutely. 2, I think he's also doing it to see what the reaction is from us, and you guys all know we all go bonkers. It's like the bat signal goes up and we all go insane in his tweets and DMs and what have you. 3, I think he's doing it because he had some sort of Howard Stern surgery and he can't talk right now. I don't know what the hell was going on with his degenerative speech impediment last night. Right?
Awful bad lisp.
And then 4, and it didn't help that Mike's mic was perfect and Kirk's was terrible. And 4, is he actually morphing into his favorite character on The Sopranos? If he doesn't look like Junior, I don't know who does. He could play a young Junior with those big glasses. It's the speech impediment he's got going that's going to hold him back. Maybe he's Hercules.
Tim,
Again, he keeps us on our feet.
TJ, you think he's just trolling?
I think that Dave Portnoy knows that he can't really battle with Kirk. mentally he can't battle with Kirk. So he projects his hatred to Blind Mike and Steve Robinson. Psychologically, I think that's what's happening. He can't be in the same ring with Kirk. Kirk will rip him. So I do see, like, the hate for Steve Robinson shouldn't even be there. Like, what? He didn't do anything. He's been right every step of the way. With Blind Mike, he worked at Barstool. I don't know what went on behind the scenes, but Mike seems harmless. To just Fortnite doesn't like him, I guess. But maybe, like I said, maybe it's projecting because he knows he can't be in the same ring with Kirk when he wants to battle.
John, any final thoughts on that before we close that out?
I mean, Kirk's a genius. I mean, he's always a step ahead of everybody. I mean, look at the way he tap danced with Entercom. I mean, who would have thought, and even Jerry didn't think, that Kirk was going to be able to get out of Intercom and get ahead of this. And he did. Kirk knows what he's doing. And Kirk's dad didn't raise a dumb kid, and Kirk, his dad put him in touch with, he's probably got a good set of lawyers that bill him pretty well too. Kirk's a genius. He knows what he's doing, and he'll be just fine.
Now, the last thing that I want to cover for tonight. So the other day I was sitting having my break, and all of a sudden I get a Periscope notification that TJ Hubbard is going live. And
my favorite.
So I click on it. I don't know what this young man's doing, and I see a
Young
45-year-old man in the front seat of his Dodge pickup truck opening up baseball cards, and I couldn't escape it. My eyes were burning. I was caught. I was stuck. I was caught looking. It was a train wreck, and I loved it. So now, to my understanding, there was going to be a baseball card show this week. What is this all about?
July 1st, myself, Tim and Canton, R.A. Minahan, and Madawaska Rob, I believe, right?
Yes.
I'm going to sit down. We have packs to open live. And we're going to talk a little baseball card, a little hobby shop, a little bit. We can come from, I'm not going to talk about Pokemon at all, RA. But
baseball cards only.
Tim Canton collected cards in the late 70s, early 80s. I did 80s and 90s, and RA did mid 90s to the 2000s. So we got 3 generations of collectors, and we'll talk a little shop. A couple of the throw out the checklist. Get them out. Checklist and bad vibes.
That is absolute crap.
Get them out.
The checklist is the 10th player of baseball cards. Absolutely underrated. Underrated.
Takes the place of a real card. It takes the place of
Tim,
372. Yes.
I have 2 complete set of the Twinkies cards from the 70s.
Ooh, Twinkie. Ooh, so you were the guy who got the bottom of the box, cut them out. Yeah. See, TJ, we might have to have a 5th on this. That's right up our alley. We know what you're talking about, John. Steve right now is wishing there was a gun that he could put in his mouth and have someone pull it for him.
Wish I could stick my head up that lady's ass and back of me, to be honest with you.
Like something out.
So hey, TJ, who was the person you were talking to when you were opening your cards? Because you were just some random person walked up to your truck. I'm like, what the hell?
Tim and Kent knows this. I am at
a
local store, and everybody knows I am one of the whack packers at the local store. So everybody comes down there. I'm well known in my city. A lot of people come in. But a fellow scratcher, let's say scratch ticket guy, come on, did you hit any of those? And he didn't know I was doing it, but that's fine with me. A fellow Marine, by the way, too. But good guy. Yeah, I get that randomly. And I'll stay live. I'm going to do that a couple more times. I'll open packs and people will just come up. I won't even say they were live. Just listen to conversations.
If RA and Madawaska Rob are at Milton's on Sunday, John, I get some packs I'm going to be handing out for the show. So I'll give you a pack. Steve, you can have a pack. You can come on and show your excitement.
I'm good. Open. So before
he only collected the Desert Storm cards.
Oh, that's a good set.
So before we get out of here, so John, other than the vigil on Sunday, the rally on Sunday, what else do you got going on? Is there anything? Like I said, I'm hoping that you do your big draw wherever whenever you go on. I'm hoping that you do like a your own YouTube show, soon. Is there anything that you got going on that you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, just remember, everybody, Sunday afternoon, just come by just for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Come by, swing by Route 9, Chestnut Hill. Milton's a great supporter of the Kirk Minahan Show. Just come by, bring a sign if you can. Like I said, DC's going to be doing some stuff live. Just come by, give us a honk, or come in and buy something from Milton's.
Bring a hat, bring a fat head of your favorite Minifan.
Yes, you should always do that.
Well, Kevin from
Okay.
Bristol.
I brought
Kevin
4 down to the Abbey.
Kevin from Bristol is coming. I was talking to him. He's I can only imagine with him with a big crowd. Usually he's pretty entertaining. I'm sure he's
Bring your bagels, lots of cream.
Try and do something. But other than that, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Steve, can I just 2 things real quick?
Please,
2 bullet points.
Please.
I promise no vortex.
Yes.
First shout out to my favorite fan, Jen H. and Lauren Lynn. I would love to have either or both of you on the Floor Is Yours, which is a prank call show. I've done one episode posted, one in the can. I got to edit with Blind Mike's daddy, and I would love to have either or both of them on. They're both very, very funny, and they get the jokes. Second is you gave me and TJ a homework assignment last week, and you were a little bit upset with us that we hadn't watched Better Than It Used to Be.
Yeah.
And Some Insane News. And I got to tell you,
Yes.
Better Than It Used to Be did me right. Those dinks got me in line, and I buffed out my my headlight, and it looks brand new.
I've seen that.
Unbelievable.
Snappers.
I'm not eating that crap. And then the second, no way. Sorry, buddy.
They missed something on that. It was called celery salt. You got to put celery salt on the red snapper. It's unfucking believable they didn't get that.
Tim, please carry on, Tim.
Secondly, and lastly, you said that Some Insane News was a good show, and I could not disagree more with you. It's a great
show.
You didn't like the segment on urethral sounding?
Holy
and try to put them right up your fucking cock hole.
Those 2 shows, I've been watching both of them. I think I'm on my 3rd try. Unbelievable. Both shows, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You ever had a cystoscopy? I've had one of those. Those are really fun.
All right. So with that being said,
I want to hear more about that, TJ.
John, thank you very much, my friend. I will see you Sunday.
Thank you.
TJ, Tim, thank you to Justin, Steve,
be safe.
Kirk, and Blind Mike, and we'll see you guys next week.
Right in the pee hole.
John, this is where T